cat can look like a tiny monster, and almost nobody realizes love is the reason. One day she still rubs against her owner, asking for touch, and the next she is crouched low, glaring as if danger entered home. A soft noise from the hallway now makes her fur rise, her body stiffen, and her eyes widen before anyone even reaches her. When a gentle hand comes closer, she does not read affection first anymore, because her whole body has started translating closeness into threat. People call her moody, difficult, dramatic, or mean, because what they can see is anger, while what she feels underneath is alarm. Inside that small body, however, life has changed completely, because her heart is no longer beating only for herself, but also for hidden kittens. The moment she senses those fragile lives growing within her, the world stops feeling ordinary and begins feeling like a place full of risks. Every footstep seems louder than before, every unfamiliar scent feels sharper, and every movement near her resting place starts carrying the shape of danger. She's not planning cruelty, and she's not trying to punish anyone, because her mind is being reorganized around one urgent task only. Protecting unborn kittens begins long before birth, and for a pregnant cat, protection often starts as suspicion toward anything that could come too close. That is why the cat who once welcomed petting may suddenly turn away, flatten her ears, and warn her owner with a low growl. Her body can ache, her belly feels heavier, her nerves stay tighter, and confusion mixes with vigilance until even familiar comfort becomes difficult to trust. What looks like a bad attitude is often a shield made from discomfort, hormones, and instinct, all pressing her to defend before harm appears. She cannot explain that her body feels unfamiliar, that pressure is building, or that her fear now has a purpose larger than herself. So instead of words, she uses distance, posture, claws, and warning sounds to say the only message her instincts trust completely: stay back. This hurts the owner most when the cat used to be affectionate, curling beside them nightly, purring easily, and seeking hands she now avoids. To the owner, that sudden rejection can feel personal, as if love vanished overnight, when in truth, love has simply changed its direction. She is not loving less, she is guarding more, because her attention is being pulled toward tiny lives nobody else can see yet. That change can make even beloved routines feel dangerous, especially when touch arrives unexpectedly or footsteps interrupt the hidden calculations running through her body. A toy she once chased, a lap she once claimed, even a doorway she once crossed freely can suddenly become places requiring caution. Many pregnant cats start searching for tighter, quieter spaces.
Are you okay?
Not because they are sulking,
Just find a
but because
safe
hidden
spot.
corners feel easier
I'm right
to protect.
here.
Under the bed, behind a curtain, inside a closet, she is not being antisocial. She is choosing positions where fewer threats can appear. From there, she watches everything differently, measuring sounds, distances, entrances, and hands, as though the whole room has become a map of possible risks. Her stare hardens, not because tenderness disappeared, but because softness now feels costly when she believes weakness could expose her unborn kittens. Even before labor begins, motherhood is already rewriting her priorities, placing safety above sociability and vigilance above the easy trust she once offered. Hormones do not create evil inside her. They sharpen attention, increase sensitivity, and amplify every warning signal her body thinks she cannot ignore. That is why a sound too small for humans can still crash through her nerves like a door thrown open in darkness. Her muscles prepare before her mind can relax. And once that tension rises, even familiar kindness may arrive, wearing the outline of danger. So when the owner reaches down with love, she may answer with claws, not because she hates that hand, but because she fears failure. Failure, to her instincts, would mean letting harm touch what she already feels responsible for, even if those kittens have not opened eyes. This is the hidden tragedy. The owner sees aggression, while the cat is living inside a constant emergency that nobody else can hear. Pregnancy can turn ordinary uncertainty into deep defensiveness, because the cost of trusting the wrong moment suddenly feels much higher than before. She may pace, recheck hiding spots, sniff bedding repeatedly, or settle only briefly, because her mind keeps scanning for the safest place. That restlessness is not moodiness either. It is preparation, the kind built from instinct, discomfort, and the urgent need to control exposure. A pregnant cat often wants the world quieter, slower, farther away, though because too much stimulation forces her body to stay ready instead of safe. If visitors arrive, if voices rise, if furniture moves, her distress may spike fast, and she can respond before anyone understands what triggered it. That reaction can look extreme, but extremes make sense when an animal believes hesitation could cost something precious and impossible to replace. In her mind, being underestimated is safer than being unprepared, so she chooses severity long before she can risk being gentle again. The owner might kneel nearby with hurt eyes, confused by the growl, never realizing that the cat is defending love, not rejecting it. That is what makes this period so painful and so beautiful. Tenderness is still there, but it is buried under armor. The armor is made from alert ears, a guarded spine, a fixed stare, and the willingness to strike before uncertainty grows closer. It is easier for her body to overreact than to miss danger once, because instinct treats survival as more important than fairness. So the cat who once slept on an open blanket may now wedge herself deep underneath furniture, where approaching bodies are easier to stop. From that dark, protected space, she can watch the room, limit access, and keep her vulnerable belly farther from whatever might surprise her. To humans, hiding can look cold, but to her it feels intelligent, because distance buys time, and time can mean safety. She may stop asking for cuddles, not because affection stopped mattering, but because touch now competes with a louder command. Protect first. Even her favorite owner becomes part of a frightening equation when pregnancy tells her that every approach must be judged before accepted. This is why heartbreak happens on both sides. The owner feels pushed away, and the cat feels cornered by love arriving at the wrong time. Neither of them truly wants distance. Yet distance becomes necessary because she cannot relax while her unborn kittens feel exposed inside her. Her growl is not a personality change in the deepest sense. It is a boundary line drawn by fear, pain, and duty. Those claws are speaking a language she never needed before pregnancy. A language that says warning first, explanation never, and survival always. If she had human words, she might say she is overwhelmed, sore, uncertain, and terrified of failing creatures who cannot yet protect themselves. But she only has posture, breath, tail, teeth, and timing. So her fear becomes visible as aggression before anyone can decode it. The most loving thing an owner can do here is stop taking the behavior personally and start reading it as protective overload. That means moving slower, reaching less, keeping noise low, and offering care without forcing closeness she does not feel ready to allow. Food placed nearby, a clean, quiet nest, and respectful distance can tell her something important. Danger is not approaching from this person. She may not soften immediately, because instincts do not disappear on command, but consistency can slowly teach her that support is possible. Trust returns in fragments first. A shorter stare, a quieter breath, a body that stays tense slightly less when the owner enters. Then maybe she eats while the owner remains nearby, or rests without retreating farther. And those small changes mean far more than they seem. Near labor, her protectiveness can intensify again. Because birth is close, vulnerability peaks, and the need to control space floods her completely. She may curl tightly around herself, choose one hiding place repeatedly, and watch every doorway as if the room must answer to her. At this stage, even kindness should arrive softly, because too much insistence can feel like invasion, and invasion is exactly what she fears. The owner who understands this becomes safer, not by proving love loudly, but by making the environment predictable, quiet, and easy to defend. That quiet respect matters, because motherhood does not need applause from her. It needs room, stability, and the absence of unnecessary pressure. When labor finally begins, the fierce cat is not becoming crueler. She is crossing into the most exposed and demanding threshold of all. Every sound feels larger then, every movement matters more, and her aggression can flare hard because her body is opening while danger still feels possible. Yet beneath that tension, she is doing something ancient and tender. holding life close while trying to keep chaos outside the circle. Then the kittens arrive, and the same mother who looked furious now curls around them with an intensity so gentle it almost aches. Her body is exhausted, her nerves are still lit, and her eyes keep checking the room because protection does not end at birth. If anyone reaches too quickly toward the nest, she may threaten again, because now the fragile lives she feared for are finally visible.
Hiss.
But something subtle can begin changing when the owner does not force contact, does not challenge her fear, and simply brings food near. That quiet offering tells her the same hand she feared is not stealing kittens, not invading the nest, and not demanding anything. Slowly, the owner becomes part of the safe perimeter instead of the threat perimeter, and that distinction changes everything inside her guarded mind. She may still watch carefully, but the stare softens around the edges, because experience is beginning to prove that gentleness can coexist with proximity. Maybe she allows the owner to sit nearby without warning. Maybe she keeps eating. Maybe she stops shrinking deeper into the shadows. And those tiny changes matter because they reveal the truth. Aggression was never her identity, only the emergency language of a frightened mother. Once her kittens nurse, sleep, and remain unharmed, some of the storm inside her finally begins to loosen its grip a little. Relief does not arrive all at once, but it leaks in through repeated safety, through quiet routines, and through a respected boundary. The owner sees it first in the pauses, in the moments she does not growl, and in the breaths that leave easier. Then one day she looks up without panic, and the owner realizes the hard season was never hatred, only love under unbearable pressure. She may not return immediately to her old softness, because motherhood leaves vigilance behind. But the wall between them is no longer solid. Now when the owner sets food down, and the mother cat can watch without striking, holding her kittens close while allowing help to exist. That moment is quiet, but it carries enormous meaning, because trust after fear is often deeper than trust that was never tested. Behind the claws, behind the hiss, behind the cold stare, there was always a mother trying desperately to keep her unborn world intact. What changed was not her heart becoming cruel, but her heart taking on more lives, more fear, and more responsibility than before. To understand her, the owner had to stop asking why she became worse and start asking what she was trying to protect. And the answer was never revenge, rejection, or madness. It was motherhood speaking through fear in the only voice her body knew. That is why the fiercest mother cat can still be the gentlest soul once the danger passes and her kittens are safe. Her violence was never a betrayal of love. It was love wearing armor, love baring teeth, love refusing to risk one life. So when a pregnant cat turns fierce, look deeper. You may be witnessing not a broken pet, but a mother fully awakening.